Happy day, happy day. Happy day to everybody out there in the world, everybody in the land today. Oh, it's a blessed day today. Oh, it's a beautiful day today. We have much to give thanks for, don't we? Isn't it just a magnificent day to be alive, to have the breath of life within us, right? It's a beautiful day. I'm in my new setup over here for right now. I'm going to take advantage of this great weather for as long as I can. I know it's going to be a cold winter this year. It was so hot. Usually, when it's as hot as it was this year, with the drought and everything going on like that, we can expect it to be a cold winter as well. Now, I'm away from my phone and I'm away from my setup right here. So, as you all leave me comments and make statements about this live as we do it, I'll get up periodically to check those things and make sure that I address you. Now, remember, we got a new thing going on as far as supporting this channel go. We want to get these videos as far and as wide as they could possibly go. And we want folks to be able to access them. We want these videos, excuse me, and these live stream lessons to be on people's threads so that they can objectively click on that button and see what is being said in these streams. So I need y'all, as you come in and as you join the live stream, to please hit that like button. That way, the algorithm will pick the video up and we can push this thing out as a team and as a family, doing what we need to do. Okay? We all can support one another in different ways. You know, I like to say now that we all don't necessarily have the audacity or the want or desire to necessarily get up in front of individuals and other people and speak, but we do have the abilities to do other things like share the message and speak on the message outside of the live streams. And we have the ability to hit the like buttons and all those sorts of things that will help the video go far and wide, so that the message can be spread. So we all have a role to play. And I think that's the most important thing about being in the body of believers is that we all aren't called to do the same thing. And that's perfectly fine. You have bodily functions that all don't operate in the same way. Because if they did, our body wouldn't be a body. A body is a conglomeration of different parts and pieces brought together in order to make something go forward. Okay. Right now, I want to talk about the law. More than ever, we need to be paying attention to the law of the Most High. I made some statements one of the last lives that I published, and it was pertaining to how in modern times we have been moved away and lied to by those who have been positioned over us in leadership roles in the church, which have said to us that the law is done away with and that we are in this so called period of grace, where grace covers the breaking of the law, if I may. Well, I want to clear that up. I didn't make that statement, I just identified it. That statement has been made before I was even on earth, and it's still being made now. And so, what we want to really do is identify what is this period of grace that's really going on right now. You've heard me talk about that we still are in this age of grace, right? Well, when I make those statements about being in the age of grace, I am no way saying that the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High are done with. When I make the statement that we are in the age of grace still, but at the tail end of it at that, it is in order to identify that we still have an opportunity to come back to the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. Not that we are covered in grace to not come to the Most High's law, statutes, and the commandments and to do those things that were requested of us to do, dictated to us to do. Now, I know dictate is a strong word, but when we talk about an age of lawlessness as well, and when we talk about this period that we're in, where so many people have decided to rock with the devil and decided to turn their backs on the Most High, not just Israelites, but even Gentiles and other nations. Now, of course, the other nations and Gentiles, it shouldn't be a surprise that they have turned their back on the Most High. It shouldn't be a surprise that they would even not consider turning forward to the Most High. That was part of the reason for for the Israelites to have received the law, statutes, and commands in the first place. See, the Israelites are supposed to be a way shower to the rest of the world. We were supposed to be a light in a world that was being overtaken by darkness, wickedness, even at the time when the law was given to us. The world had been taken over by wickedness in the days of Noah. Okay, so when we think about everything that has transpired this day meaning in whole epoch, and whole era, okay, and we think about what we were called to do as a nation, as Israelite people, um, being Hebrew, okay, not only being Israelite, but being Hebrew. Um, to be Hebrew was very important because Abraham himself, Papa Abraham, so was Hebrew himself. Okay, now he wasn't an Israelite, he was the father of the Israelites. He was the father of the one named Jacob, who would eventually have his name changed to Israel, Yasharal. And then Yasharallah would have these 12 sons who would then be the fathers of each tribe within the Israelite nation, which would then bring forth these billions of children, if I may, that are running around here right now. Some of us are in the truth and doing what we need to do and what we were originally called to do, which was honor the law, statutes, and commands and be a way shower and light to our people and to the world. And then you have those of us, many of us, who have decided to turn our backs and to live within uh, means of wickedness and evil. And so we have this back and forth. And what makes it sad is that many of us who were born into the light and love of the Most High have fallen for the deceit, fallen for that devilish deception, and have now moved toward the devil by being blessed with the avatars that would be able to contain the power of the Most High in order to deliver the word of truth, but have denied that power and now have gone to essentially cleave to the devil. But this is what the age of grace has to entail. The age of grace is given to us as a gift by the Most High, so that those of us who have have ignorantly cleaved onto the devil or have been deceived in this time can hear the word of truth, can receive the light of love of the Most High, and return back to the Most High's law, statutes, and commands while there's still a moment of time, a grace period. But that grace is not a grace where, oh, I can do whatever I want to do. I can live however I want to live. And because of grace, I'll be covered in my sins for doing whatever it is I want to do. And even those, how shamefully, even those of us who know the difference between right and wrong and still decide to do wrong with this idea that I'm covered by grace or you are covered by this grace. Now, that is not what the grace period is all about. The grace period is simply a period and moment in time where we are able to recognize what it is we have done wrong and make the corrections to do right. Because once the day of the Most High reveals itself, and once the day of the Most High comes to us and is enacted and initiated, there will be no more grace. It will be done. And you will have to stand before the true and living judge and hold yourself accountable and be held accountable for that mindset, that horrible mindset that an individual, I won't say you watching this live stream, instead, I'll say an individual. And if you should so happen to be an individual who have had this mindset, well, this moment right now is an opportunity for you to correct yourself. Okay, but so many have believed that horrible mindset, and in doing so, have fallen victim to themselves essentially, and to victim to the devilish deceitful ways that the adversary, Hashatan, has enacted in this kingdom that he has been given for this short while in order to deceive as many as possible. All right. I have some scriptures that I would like to go over right now. I'm going to be reading from both scripts. I'll be reading from 2nd Ezra, 2nd Maccabees. I'll be reading from briefly from Jeremiah, briefly from Isaiah, and briefly from First John, and briefly from Matthew. Let's go to First John real quick. No, actually, let's go to Matthew real quick. Matthew chapter 5. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5 real quick. And what better way to start off than to speak the words of Yahshua? Because I think that the so-called New Testament, the so-called New Testament, once the word was given to the Gentile, or the Gentile took the word and made it their own and sought to, I must say, deceive the Israelite people into not realizing who we were, because you got to remember, most of what we were inundated with throughout our captivity, especially coming from the slave overseers, were these uh, warped passages came through the Bible, okay, through the so-called New Testament, and it was these warped passages that even today leave a stain of anger. So many of the descendants of Jacob and his four wives, meaning the children of Israel. And there's so many people, especially in our modern generation right now, that say, I don't want nothing to do with the Bible because that's a slave book. And that is unfortunate. But I feel in my heart of hearts that those ideas are being corrected right now. And I feel that right now, more than ever, we have an opportunity to stand strong as a rising Israelite nation, as a rising people who can see what's going on in the land, can look around, and I mean this metaphorically as well as observationally, but more metaphorically, as we look around and we see the different signs and we see the different things that are happening right now that would cause us to be stirred up internally. Um, there is no narrative and there is no prophecy given throughout the world which highlights and details the time we are in, like the Bible does and like the Torah does. The Holy Scriptures are all accounts and all narratives given unto us through the prophets of the Most High. And these scriptures were written down um, and recorded in a time for a time. Excuse me. And that's what prophecy is all about. Prophecy is about recording the visions, recording the word of the Most High in a time, regarding a time that is yet to come and reveal itself in the physical realm, in the physical manifestation. And so now we are living in this time where all things are being revealed, where truth is being dispensated and dispersed throughout the four corners of the world. We live in the age of information where it's so easy to get the information that one would need in order to move forward, being awakened truly. And one thing that I see more and more is the prophets, the modern day prophets and saints of the Most High, and the men of Israel, the true men of Israel, the true living blood descendants of Jacob, of Isaac, of Abraham, are here now and are pushing a hard line for the truth to be shared, for the truth to be told, for the truth to be dispensated across the world so that many people of our bloodline can be brought into the truth, so that many of our people who have been rocked to bed can be awakened in this time. Now, you have many pastors and preachers who will tell you and try to tell you that the law is done away with. I've heard so many prominent, so called prominent pastors and preachers and mega church leaders say that the law and statutes are done away with. And many of these pastors and preachers are Gentiles, meaning non Israelites by blood. This is very important. See, we live in a time now where the truth must be detailed, the truth must be told. And for all of my non Israelite supporters who watch this channel, I want you to realize that, um, how do I say this? This is not a prejudice channel. This is not someone who finds joy in speaking racism and prejudice. Instead, your brother True Jew is one who enjoys and relishes the opportunity to speak the truth. Remember who I am. I can do anything and say anything and be anything. We live in an age where a dog has rights. We live in an age where a man can claim to be a woman. We live in an age where a woman can claim to be a man. Shoot, we even live in an age where someone can claim a different ethnicity and get away with it. We live in an age where someone can literally claim to be an ethnic background that they are not and receive the benefit and the government assistance for being someone who they really aren't by blood. Okay. So when I think about this era and I think about what I could be, I'm so thankful and grateful that the Most High chose me to be not only this young boy who saw so much, especially being born and raised in the Bay Area of all places, okay, but to have been raised up and brought up through all of the obstacles and all of the blockages of life, to be brought to this point now as a young man who is able to rightly divide the word of truth and choose to be a steward of the light and love of the Most High to his people and to the rest of the world. This is a very a crucial point in time, and it's a very important uh, purpose that has been placed on me. Now, there was a point in my life when I was running like a chicken with his head cut off, or a rooster with his head cut off. I was running around here like a fool, okay? And during my foolish days, I could have easily been taken out the way. I could have easily been chopped down. I could have easily had a number of things happen to me, which are the rewards of those who ignorantly turn their backs on the Most High and the laws and statutes and commands. But while I was doing all of those things, there was still this voice speaking to me. There was still ministering angels coming to me in my sleep. And I was walking a fine line of destruction. But I'm so thankful that on that fence, we like to say, stop riding the fence. It'd be best that you was cold than lukewarm on the fence. I've finally been knocked off that fence and been placed into the side of righteousness. Okay, I finally stopped walking that cat line, and I finally got off and I answered the call that I have been called to be a part of my whole life in this incarnation. Now, because of that, I'm grateful and blessed to be able to bring forth the truth in this way. But I need y'all to realize that once again, I am not coming from a prejudice or um destructively racial standpoint. It's very difficult to move away from ethnic backgrounds and race when we deal with the Bible and truth, because the Bible was given to a certain ethnic group, the Torah, the scriptures, the prophets. All of the prophets, all of the scriptures, all of the Torah were given to the Hebrew Israelite people. Okay, and so this is something that has to be mentioned, but I'd like to do it in as loving a way as possible so that you don't feel biased, so that you don't feel. Now, of course, I'm called not to be a respecter of men, and that respecter of men has to deal with worrying about a person's emotional state. Okay, each one of us has the opportunity to to divulge into the Bible today, seeing as the Bible is the highest grossing, highest selling book on the face of the earth. It is the most popular book on the earth. But there was a thing done when the Bible was propped up like that, in that the devil. Now, this is how this thing works when it comes to this Bible. Yes, it's great that the Bible has spread across the world, because the world is supposed to be receiving of the truth in the time of the end, and the truth will go to the four corners of the world. But what has been misconstrued is that the truth will go to the four corners of the world through the lackadaisical teaching of the Gentiles and the Gentile leadership. You see, the truth will be made established and firmly placed in the four corners of the world through the Israelite people. Okay? And it is the men of Israel who will deliver this truth. As I speak, there's three doves fly onto the telephone line. Isn't that a blessing? It is the men of Israel which will confirm the truth and rightly divide the truth and speak the truth as the truth stands and as it stood originally, you see. And so this is the difference between the Gentile who biasly teach the word in order to control the children of Israel in this day. You could think uh, individuals like Joel Osteen, for instance, who are very clear on what the word says, but as a Gentile seeks to do the work of the devil by kill, stealing, and destroying those who he would have been in order to wake up, help bring to the word and help bring to the light, but instead has decided to put a wool of blanket over the eyes of many in order to be himself propped up with the riches that the world has to offer. You see, now this is no attack on Joel Osteen for the sake of attack, but is identifying how when the Gentile who biasly to deliver the biblical narrative in order to prop him or herself up over the children of Israel, instead of detailing the truth about his own place as a Gentile and what it means for him and his people to be Gentiles and have to wait for the truth to be dispensated through the men of Israel, the true living descendants and blood descendants of Jacob. That's where we have a problem and an issue. And that's when it becomes deceivingly racial, and that's when it becomes prejudice. Okay. What I seek to do is the reverse of that. I have to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel to the best of my ability. And I also have to be a way shower to the Gentile nations who want to live in truth and cleave to the house of Israel. And I hope that all of the Gentile uh, people who watch a channel like this and who watch me when I do these live streams can can remove the deceitful spirit that has inoculated the world today and can walk in truth with the true children of Israel. Okay. The Gentile people are considered to be strangers. Okay, strangers. And I'm going to read some scriptures that highlight the love that the Most High has for the strangers, the Gentile nations who want to abide by the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. Now, Yahshua tells us, verse 16 of Matthew chapter 5, let your light shine. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no way pass from the law till all be fulfilled. That means that every single aspect of the law, statutes, and commands given to Moshe, given to Moses, and on behalf of the children of Israel, shall not be done away with. It does not matter what period in time you think you live in. I don't care if it's this period of grace in the 12th part of the age of the world. I don't care if it's the first part of the age of the world. The law, statutes, and commands were given all the way back in Adam's time. And throughout all of this time into the new kingdom, the law, statutes, and commands will continue to stand. Verse 19 of Matthew chapter 5. Whosoever, therefore, shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. You see, Yahshua is basically letting us know not to be hypocrites like the Pharisees, okay? But also not to feel as though that the law, statutes, and commands are done away with. Okay, it's very important. It's this balancing act that had to take place. Let's go into First John. I think it's good to go into this New Testament or into this new covenant. Okay, we're going to read First John, chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. Let's go 3, verse 5. And hereby we do know we know him if we keep his commandments. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whoso keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of God perfected. Hereby know we that we are in him. So you see, the pastors and preachers who claim that the law, statutes, and commands are done away with, but claim to have a relationship with Yahshua, claim to have a relationship with the Most High, they are liars. And it's those same ones who deceive millions of people every Sunday. They deceive people just by saying, come to church on Sunday, okay? And not detailing the truth that the Shabbat, the Sabbath, the Sabbath is still very much a law, statute, and command that we must keep and maintain, even in our captivity, even in the place of our captivity today. The Sabbath is still very important to maintain. And so when we have not even uh, been made to realize by those who are put in leadership positions over us to realize that the Sabbath is still important to identify with and still important to maintain, but have been lied to and told that we must honor the Most High on the Sunday, on the Sun Day, the day of worshiping the sun, S-U-N, then it is very crucial to our walk that we realize that if we do not keep the commandments but claim to know Him, the Most High, then we are liars and the truth is not in us. But when we keep the law, statutes, and commands, as First John chapter 2, verses 3 through 5 has stated, we are doing the right thing. When we keep the commands, as Yahshua stated in the book of Matthew chapter 5, verses 16 through 20, then we know we are doing the right thing. What is the love of the Most High? People say, oh, what is the love of the Most High? I don't know. A lot of people don't know what the love of the Most High is, what it means to actually love the Most High. Well, here we go. First John chapter 5, verse 2. But by this we know that we love the children of God. We love God. Okay? So to love the children of God is loving God as well, the Most High. But how do we love the Most High? And keep his commandments. For this is the love of God. Verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. That means, not grievous means that when we begin to study and rightly divide the word of truth, and when we begin to realize that the word of truth is the dispensation of the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High, we can focus and diligently study, take the law, statutes, and commands unto ourselves so that we can practice them. And in practicing them, we will keep them and we will teach them to our families, to our children. Okay. We would teach them and then we will live in them and get into a groove. And once we get into that groove and become rhythmic with the law, statutes, and commands, they will become second nature to us again. And as we continue to produce generations through us, we will be able to studiously pass those laws, statutes, and commands as the ordinances of our nation unto our children, our children's children, our children's children's children. And then we will be able to spread those laws, statutes, and commands throughout our nation, and then those strangers, those Gentiles of other nations, non Israelite people, who like what we are doing, who see what we are doing, who see the justification and the justness of what we are doing, who see us living in a righteous way, will get curious and will want to cleave unto our nation because their nations are doing things that don't resonate with them fully. And so we must hold them accountable when they want to cleave unto our nation. And the only way we hold them accountable is by being stern and forthright in the law, statutes, and commands that were given to us, okay, by the Most High. But because we turned our backs on the Most High as a people, because we chose and opted to cleave unto the way of the devil, we were placed in punishment, okay? We were placed in quarantine, if I may. I know we talk about this age of vaccinations and this age of all these pandemics going on right now, and all these people being quarantined across the world. Well, the Israelites were quarantined for real, so much so that we were placed in captivity throughout the four corners of the world. Okay, but what's happening right now is we are waking up. All praises to the Most High. We are waking up right now. And this is what I was referring to, that moment of grace, where we have an age of grace right now, where as we wake up, we can cry out to the Most High, seek the face of the Most High, and we can turn from our disastrous and wicked ways, and we can come back to the Most High and cleave to the law, statutes, and commands that were given to us and our forefathers and foremothers, that many of our forefathers and foremothers turned their backs on and caused us to be placed into captivity because of that. Okay. Now, I wanted to go to the so called New Covenant first because it's the New Covenant that people, modern day pastors and preachers, like to lean on when it comes to this idea that the law, statutes, and commands are done. But they just totally skip over these passages that I just read. Once again, how do we know that we love the Most High? What is the love of the Most High? By this we know that we love the children of God, the Most High, when we love the Most High and keep His commandments. For this is the love of God, the love of the Most High, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous. Okay? So this is very important. This is a very, very, very important. Let's go on now. Let's go on to let me see. I know I want to read out of the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 3. Incline your ear and come unto me, hear, and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Now, that covenant that was made with us originally was the covenant of being the chosen people of the Most High, the Israelite people, and receiving the word through the Torah, through the scrolls, the law of the Most High, living within the law of the Most High and being blessed above all nations, living within the Most High and being chosen above all nations on earth, being one with the Most High on this physical journey and walk throughout the land so that we would be stewards of truth, so that we would once again be light and way showers of truth to the rest of the world who was not chosen to live within this law, statutes, and ordinance and command given to a certain group of people. Now, behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and commander to the people. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee because of the Most High, thy Elohim. Okay. And for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee. Seek the Most High while he may be found. Call you upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto the Most High, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. My thoughts are not your thoughts, Neither are your ways my ways, saith the Most High. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Okay? That is the moment of grace that I was referring to. Okay? Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return unto the Most High, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. That is Isaiah chapter 55, verse 7. Verse 6 again. Seek ye the Most High while he may be found, and call upon him while he is near. Right now, more than ever, we have an opportunity to come to the Most High in truth, to come to the Most High and recognize our sinful ways and our iniquitous ways and stop and forsake those ways. You see, while we were living in sin, the Most High had to forsake us because we forsook the laws of the Most High. Fear not. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 4. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame, for thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood any more. For thy Maker is thine husband, the Most High of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The God of the whole world shall he be called. For the Lord, the Most High, hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth when thou wast refused, saith the Most High. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Most High thy Redeemer. When our forefathers and foremothers, and even us in this modern age, turned our backs against the Most High, to the Most High, we were forsaken and placed into captivity, and our oppressors were placed over us. The Gentile nations were given power over us to kill, steal, and destroy us. Their father, the devil. Now you have many, few, I should say, of the Gentile nations, once again, who will not seek to live in that manner and who seek to search out the truth and search out their hearts as well. And when they do so, they must cleave unto the house of the Most High, unto the house of Israel, the children of the Most High. Chapter 56 of Isaiah, verse 1. Thus saith the Most High, ye judgment and do justice. What is judgment? Judgment comes from the ordinances and the law, statutes, and commands. The judge of this modern era in this wicked satanic government, the court system, the so called judicial system, or the non justice system, the injustice system that is being propped up in this company or country called the United Snakes of America. They have their own law, they have their own ordinances, they have their own uh, judicial system. Okay? Well, the Most High has its own laws, statutes, commands, and judicial system as well. And so, if you're going to keep sound judgment, you're going to keep the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. Keep you judgment and do justice. Justice is rightly dividing the word of truth and speaking up, speaking boldly when one of your brothers or sisters are going crookedly or have left the path of righteousness in turn or in an attempt to journey down the path of wickedness. We still have a moment. Remember, I just read, let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Seek ye the Most High while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. So as long as we still have a moment in this time, in this age, to cry out, to make the corrections, not only in our own lives, but in the lives of our family, we must do so. Within the lives of our people, then we must do so. When a stranger, a Gentile, seeks to know the truth and wants to turn his or her way around and cleave unto the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High, we must make ourselves available as children of Israel to present the word of truth. Blessed is the man, verse 1 of chapter 56, Isaiah. Thus saith the Most High, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. So many pastors and preachers got folks thinking that they saved once their hand is put on, come up to the altar call. Altar call and let me put my hand on you. Let me lay hands on you. Come up to the altar call and say these little magical words, and then you'll be saved in this very moment. But then once you leave this church house, brick and mortar church building, you're going to go right back into the world and continue to live a sinful life, an iniquity filled life. Continue to be oppressed, continue to be in captivity, continue to be outside of the borders of the Most High's land for your people. But you're going to think you saved falsely. Salvation comes when this wicked world is destroyed. When I'm talking about the wicked world, I'm not talking about the canvas of the earth. I'm not talking about the physical placement of the world, the earth as we know it. Beautiful, beautiful expanse. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the surface. I'm talking about all of the nastiness that is on the surface of this beautiful earth. That is what is going to be destroyed. And what is going to be placed on top of it is the new eternal kingdom of the Most High. But we are not saved until that day of the Most High reveals itself. And that is why salvation is near to come. The Most High salvation is near to come. And the righteousness of the Most High to be revealed. Verse 2 of Isaiah chapter 56. Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the Son of Man that layeth hold on to it, the law, statutes, and commands, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and keepeth his hand from doing any evil. You see, it's a lie that the Sabbath is done away with. It's a lie that we cannot honor the Sabbath in our captivity. It's a lie that we should honor the Most High out of the 7 days of a week on a Sunday, when a Sunday is the first of the day, not first day of the week, excuse me. Sunday is the first day of the week. Saturday is the Shabbat, the last day of the week, the day of rest. When you look at your calendar, it will say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay. The week on a calendar doesn't start with Monday. It starts with Sunday. It's right in your face. And yet, so many people have been lied to and made to believe that the day of rest is really Sunday, because that is something that the wicked overseers in the church, the Catholic Church, initiated for the day of sun. This was initiated way back in Constantine's time in Rome. Okay, in 326 AD. This was initiated a long time ago, because Constantine, the Roman Emperor, Constantine was a pagan. And when I say pagan, he was one who was going against the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High, being well aware of them, but seeking to establish a day unto himself. Okay, and seeking to maintain his wicked ideas of servitude and worship to entities that were not the Most High. And in doing so, he wanted to keep his power, maintain his power. So he introduced Sunday as a day to mix up his ideas of worship and study and what he wanted to do with those things of the Most High, in order to take a stronghold over the earth, knowing that many of his subjects would be adherents to the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. So it was a way to deceive the world. And since Constantine has been propped up as emperor ever since 326 AD on forward, we have seen the lawlessness and the wickedness push forward and spread throughout the world under the guise of being truth. So, verse 2 again of Isaiah 56. Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the Son of Man that layeth hold on it, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and keepeth his hand from doing any evil. Neither let the son of the stranger that hath join himself to the Most High, speak, saying, the Most High hath utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. For thus saith the Most High unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbath, and choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in mine house and within mine walls a place and a name better than of sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. Also the sons of the stranger that join themselves to the Most High, to serve him and to love the name of the Most High and to be his servants. Every one that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it and taketh hold of my covenant, even them I will bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar, for my house shall be called an house of prayer for all people. Now, that all people is detailing all people who are living in the truth. Okay, obviously, will not be all people in the sense that all people on earth will want to cleave to the Most High. It is all people who cleave to the Most High, and the strangers, which will have a name better than of sons and daughters, is referring to their sons and daughters who have made the choice not to cleave unto the ways of the Most High. Okay, and so this is something that has to be dissected rightly, so that we can make the designation between those who are maintaining a lawless and wicked life versus those who have sought the face of the Most High to live a righteous and pure and holy life. Okay, the Sabbath must be kept, and this is what I wanted to showcase between the Gentile, who is a clear cut distinction from the Israelite, and then the Gentile, who is a clear cut distinction from his own or her own people, and wants to cleave on to the house of Israel, because that individual Gentile sees the erring ways of their people in the nations, and wants to abide by the truth and stand with the Most High and the Most High's children. Okay? Also, when we see that the Gentiles will be servants, we must understand something. And I know that many pastors and preachers won't say this, but in the new kingdom, the Gentiles, all of the nations which held us captive as Israelites, all of the nations which subverted us, all of the nations which trampled on us, all of the nations which sold us as slaves, all of the nations which sold us into captivity, and all of the nations which sold a girl for wine and made a boy a harlot, all of the nations which subjugated us to wickedness and eating of pork and unclean things, and caused us to eat hog maws and chitlins and pig guts and pig ears and pig feet, chops, and all of these unclean and unsavory things. They, in the new kingdom, will be made the servants of the children of Israel. Those who led us into captivity will be made captive. And this is partly of what Isaiah 56 is saying when it's talking about the strangers who will cleave unto the house of Israel. And this is why I had to make the distinction of, I will give them an everlasting name and a name better than of sons of daughters. The children of Israel will finally be repropped up into the position that we were supposed to be had we cleaved continually unto the Most High. But we remember that in a little wrath, the Most High hid his face from us for a moment. But with everlasting kindness will he have mercy on us, because we will always be the chosen people of the Most High in this place. Now, to confirm what I said about the Gentiles becoming the servants of the children of Israel when the new kingdom comes, for thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. You see, that was Isaiah chapter 54, verse 3. You see, when this devilish kingdom is finally destroyed, And all of the buildings, all of the system, all of the courthouses, all of the clerk houses, all of the stadiums, all of the arenas, all of the churches, all of the so-called places of worship, all of these high-rise buildings, all of these institutions, all of these banks, all of these castles, all of the whatever is standing, once it's all dismantled and destroyed, we will rebuild. And the kingdom of the Most High will be placed on top of all these things that were built during this last era. The same way that all of our indigenous homes, all of our original kingdoms were trampled down and destroyed by the lawless ones. All of the Gentiles and oppressive nations of the world came in and built over all of our dwellings and our places of solitude, our places of peace during the era of so called manifest destiny. And all of those buildings that were destroyed, they're going to be made anew. All of those dwellings that were knocked down and built over by the Gentile nations will be made anew once the Most High, the day of the Most High, reveals itself and once it begins to take full effect. When the Gentile nations are knocked down, there will be many, we've touched on this before, coming from the book of Joel, particularly, that the day of the Most High is going to be a fierce day for the Gentiles. The Gentiles and the nations of the Gentiles will put away all of their foolish banter and fight against each other, and they will join forces. And when they join forces, they will seek to join forces in order to fight against the Most High and the military might of the Most High. When they do that, they will surely lose. We read how the Most High will gather all the nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and there the battle of Armageddon will rage on. And these nations will believe the devil and believe a lie that they will be able to fight against the Most High and win. And when they seek to fight, they will be utterly destroyed. But there will be those Gentiles who will recognize what is going on, and they will stand away. They will stand aside and they will say, no, 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 this is wrong. We mustn't fight against the Most High because they have received the truth. And it's those Gentiles who are still the blood descendants of those who took the children of Israel and held us captive and oppressed us that will now become the servants of the children of Israel. Oh, I don't know if the world is ready to hear that, but it must be said. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. We were once inherited by the Gentiles as property. We were no better than cattle. Even right now, as the Constitution, I myself are considered 3/5 of a man, even still today. And I'm one of the biggest, tallest, strongest men you will ever come across. But I'm considered 3/5 of a man in this unconstitutional constitution, in this unjust system that I live in right now. Okay? I'm considered 3/5 of a man. Huh. Ain't that something? And they have never sought to correct that. They have never sought to change that law because we are still in the place of our captivity. But one day, this captivity will be done with. This land and what has been built upon it in the system, this Babylonian system, will be destroyed, and the new kingdom will come. And when the new kingdom comes, there will be a new set of servants. There will be a new set of those who serve the children of Israel now. And those people will be the Gentiles and the Gentile nations, the strangers who cleave unto the house of Israel. Okay? Now, let's go. Let me check my notes real quick. Let me check my notes. All right, I think we covered, yeah, we covered Isaiah. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 9. And we're going to read Jeremiah chapter 9, verses, what did I say? 11 through 16. And I will make Jerusalem and a den of dragons, and I will make the cities of Judah desolate without an inhabitant. Yeah. What did I just read in Isaiah? Let's go back to Isaiah. And make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Verse 3 of Isaiah chapter 54. And thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. You see, when we fell away from the truth of the Most High and we decided to cleave unto the ways of the devil, instead of honoring the Most High's law, statutes, and commands, cities of Jerusalem, our cities of Bethlehem, our cities of all these places that we had once inhabited were made desolate, destroyed. Okay? Were made destroyed. But when the day of the Most High comes, and the Gentiles and the nations of the world are defeated, and Satan is defeated, we will then build up these cities again, and we will live in them forever. Verse 12 of Jeremiah chapter 9. Who is the wise man that may understand this? And who is he to whom the mouth of the Most High hath spoken, that he may declare it? What the land perisheth and is burned up like a wilderness,